All right. Hello. Good evening, everybody. We're going live today. Day number 5. 5 days in a row we've gone live. This is way later than we've been going live previously, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm super excited to be on here again. And my name is Sammy Tatro, and we're coming to you from Louisiana. And we just hope that you will share where you're from. So leave a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from, what state, what country. I know we've got some people listening from out of country, so that's super exciting. And I love to connect. So just leave me a comment where you're coming in from. Thank you guys so much. Today is Wellness Friday. Did you know? We're going to coin that Wellness Friday for our channels, and we're going to bring you an immune jamboree and give you 3 wellness hacks to outwit the COVID season, right? Lots of people are coming down with COVID right now. It's back with a vengeance. The kids and I went to the local nursing home and kind of passed out some cards today, and they are back to wearing masks around there. So everybody's heightened and paying attention to everything going on. So what better time to bring you some tips to boost your immune system? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about, first tip is a nutrient-rich diet. And we're going to jump right in today. We're not going to lollygag around. We're just going to jump right in. So the first tip is a nutrient-rich diet. We know that in this season, in this time where we live here in America, it's hard to get a nutrient-rich diet. We've got a lot of overcooked foods, we've got a lot of sugar-laden things, and we've got beverages. I mean, if you get into a health and wellness journey, you know that it's hard to find actual nutritious beverages, especially out and about. If you eat out at all, it can be challenging for sure, especially what's provided. So we're going to emphasize the importance of a balanced diet, which means we need to work on getting our greens, our vegetables, focus on those immune boosting specific vegetables and fruits, things like citrus, berries, even garlic and yogurt for good gut health. We know that good gut health helps boost the immune system for sure. If we get our gut out of whack, we can definitely have some illness, and our body's working double time to stay healthy that way. So make sure you guys are getting your probiotics in. Make sure you're focusing on good, clean fruits and vegetables. And what I mean by that is removing pesticides. Even those organic stuff has some residual stuff on there. So we've talked before previously about an extra tip on that. If you haven't heard or you want more information, definitely send me a message for those extra secret tips on how to remove pesticides and herbicides and how to get that extra clean from your fruits and vegetables. So tip number 1 is a nutrient-rich diet. You guys know that cooking your foods zaps that nutrient out of there too. So you guys want to make sure and try to eat them as often and as raw as possible. That's when you get the highest nutrient dense value out of your foods. So tip number 2, we're going to go again straight into it, is regular exercise. How many of you guys got plenty of time to get your exercise routines in? Yeah, me either. So some quick tips to just get a little bit of exercise. Maybe you don't have time to go for an hour, jaunt to the gym. Maybe you have just a little bit of time to sit down at your desk and stretch. So a couple of things you can kind of see where I carry my stress today. So some things to focus on is just lower your shoulders, lengthen your neck. And as you guys are sitting here, just take note of how you're sitting. Are your shoulders hunched forward? Are you sitting back? So sit right there and just lower, do this. Open up your chest, put your shoulders back, and lower your shoulders. Lengthen your neck. And you guys can see just from me starting this live until now, this is something that I have to focus on for sure. Another thing is just to take and stretch that neck. You can take your hand and hold on to the underside of a desk or the underside of the kitchen counter and just be able to pull this shoulder and this neck and open this space up. Stretch these muscles, stretch the open up the airway, deep breaths. And then, if you can't exercise, you can definitely do some stretching, knocking over things, but clasp those hands behind you, stretch, good stretch behind you. That's one thing. You can sit at your desk and just do these things. And then you can still sit at your desk and you can still do some stretches too. So you can try to bring that knee to your chest and stretch a little bit there. These are stretches, which are definitely hugely beneficial for all things health. But another good benefit is just to go for a quick walk. If you are in an office building, maybe you go for a walk at the far end of the building instead of the bathroom that's right next to your office. It gives you a little bit of break, gives you a stress relief, take some extra breath and some extra steps. And then that's just kind of a quick way to get a little bit of extra in. Just kind of focus again on deep breath, opening up the airway. And then if you can get a little bit of extra lifting in, maybe you have a 20-pound baby, soon to be a 1-year-old in just a matter of days, just lifting him. You can curl the baby. If you don't have that, maybe you're just doing your water bottle. You know, it might be kind of silly, but if you got that famous Stanley Cup, maybe you got the pink one, you guys can just do some curls if it's full, something, just to get your body moving. Just kind of put an alarm on your phone, think about it, to do a little bit more extra each day, just to get some motion. So tip number 2 was regular exercise. Tip 1 was nutrient-rich diet. Tip 2 is regular exercise. And then you do want to try to get a variety of aerobic exercises, so where you get your heart rate elevated, and then also strength training and those flexibility exercises. So we're talking about the real simple flexibility exercises while you're sitting here at your desk, but you do want to try to get some sort of strength training and then aerobic exercise as well where that heart rate's elevated. All right, so with that, we're going to jump right into tip number 3. Again, these seem so basic, but so crucial and yet so overlooked all the time. And tip number 3 is adequate sleep. Anybody else going to bed at like 11:30 and getting up at 4:30 or 5? Just me. Also up nursing occasionally through the night, depending on what the baby thinks he needs that night. So burning the candle at both ends of the stick. And then normally the antidote is not more sleep, it's caffeine. And Lord forbid you guys pick up an energy drink and I don't even want to get started on those. But you know, caffeine, that's where we head. It's more caffeine. We need to function. We need to stay awake during the day. And that's not what our bodies are craving. And caffeine, you're dehydrating your brain, which is increasing your mental fog. And that's not one of the tips we're going to talk about today. But coffee is actually a dehydrator, right? It's a natural diuretic. So it dehydrates the brain. And just a itty bitty decrease in hydration in the brain causes an exponential decrease in cognitive function. And again, that's not on the tips for today, but that was a bonus tip for you guys. So make sure you're focusing on hydration. But back to today's tip is adequate sleep and stress management. So we want to really focus on the quality of sleep in our immune health. And the quality of sleep is going to be number of hours, making sure you're staying in bed and you're getting restful sleep. So one of the number 1 tips is to shut off the screens right before you go to bed. Pardon me. So before that hour before you sleep, shut off your screens, let your brain and your eyes really rest so you can be rested for the night. Be calmed down for the night. And then we really want to practice mindfulness and deep breathing to manage our stress. And those mindful tips, if you guys have been tuning in, you've heard me talk recently about just nowadays we are so stressed to do as many things as possible at one time, and we don't realize what a toll it takes on us. And I recently was in that spot. I was single parenting with 3 kids. My husband was deployed, and 3 kids trying to take on all the things by myself. So homeschooling, running my business, working from home in the same space, animals, yard maintenance, house maintenance, everything was falling in on my shoulders all at the same time. And so that's when you start to think, what else can I be doing at the same time? So while I'm using the toilet, what else can I be doing? While I am, listening to the conference call, what else can I be doing? And all of those things take a really big toll on our mental clarity, our energies, and ultimately our quality time. For me, it's important to spend quality time with my kids. And so it was taking away from the quality time with my kids. And that's what I really didn't know what I was giving up at first. I didn't know the mental peace and anguish and extra stress I was causing by attempting to get more done at one time. So really managing and taking a step back to work on that healthy work-life balance is incredibly crucial. And I cannot stress that enough. I can't stress enough that when I took one thing off my plate that was really dragging me down each and every day, how it just absolutely changed just the mental heaviness. It absolutely changed the trajectory of my day-to-day life. So I absolutely recommend mindful practices. That means sitting down with your food. Don't try to do those working lunches. If you spend 10 minutes just focusing on what you're eating, and therefore you're not going to eat as much, you're not mindlessly eating. That's another thing that I'm guilty of. Just doing something at the same time as eating, and you can have a tendency to overeat. Again, that's not on today's tips, but that's another bonus tip that I'll give you guys. So mindful practices, deep breathing exercises, and then that work-life balance and adequate sleep. So making sure you're in bed enough hours. Hopefully you guys have figured out like what your body functions best at. Mine is about 7 hours, maybe 6.5, or I can get away with 8. If I can get that 6.5 to 8 hours of sleep, I'm really golden. That's really my sweet spot for that. So those are our top 3 tips. Number 3 was adequate sleep and stress management. And so remember that we just want to focus on having a positive attitude. We're working on Wellness Friday today. So if you guys want our top 10 tips for managing mental clarity, post tips below, and we'll throw that bonus out there. We've got our top 10 tips in a PDF format that you can download, and we'll get that off to you. So I appreciate you guys for your support this week, and I will see you guys back on live on Monday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy, be mindful, and be well. Take care. All right.